What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to the Sooner Surge. Game day was upon us, and what a game it was. Opening game of the season for Oklahoma with the 73-0 shutout of Arkansas State. Great things to get into, to talk about. Before we do, click subscribe, be a part of the Sooner Surge family. Like, comment on this video. Big week ahead with SMU coming into Norman. We'll get to that. Got a lot of things coming this week with the play-by-play guy going to join us and some other things. We preview that game. But first, let's get to the season opener against Arkansas State. And guys, I don't know if you could have written any better performance-wise season opener. There's some injuries, concerns, and maybe that we'll get to and see what we heard on that end. But what a game, what an opener. Offensive, defensive, special teams all showed out, every one of those facets. And we'll get to it, guys. DG, in my opinion, showed some improvements, some remarkable improvements. And I'll start with that. That was a question mark, him and the O-line. And the O-line definitely lived up to the, I'm not going to say hype because the media hype has not been there with the O-line. I am going to talk about the hype of what the O-line has been speaking to with if you've heard any of the O-linemen speak, they've talked about the potential that they have. And I know Jackson's sitting there rolling his eyes. You can get to your point in a minute. But it's not been something that the media has been saying, this is the best O-line they've ever had. But you have heard the linemen talk about that possibility. There are big holes. OU never really broke a long run, which I thought that was interesting because there were some holes there. But obviously, Gabriel was pressured a few times, showed great ability to escape. Things that we thought Gabriel would be able to do, he showed with his feet. The touchdown run where he wiggled through the line of scrimmage, made a little cut. That was impressive. He definitely threw the ball better today, hitting the open receivers, took shots down the field. And overall, guys, I just thought it was very impressive what the offense did early as far as putting points. I mean, when you don't punt until the last possession of the game, that's a good day on that end.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Hunter.
I said it early on when we were talking about something on the special teams question marks like punting. I said, hopefully it's 5 weeks before we have to punt against Texas being the first time. And obviously that's an unrealistic expectation. Drive stall. It's part of the game. It happens. It's very rare a team can go every single drive without having to punt away the football. But OU was able to do it today for 10 straight drives. Wasn't till the 11th with General Booty taking over as quarterback. It was into the game. Like, it's not that big of a deal at that point. I think even if they would have converted, they wouldn't have had time to make it downfield with the 3s and the 4s and to put some more points up on the board. So really just offensively, there's no complaints. I know Jeremy mentioned Dylan Gabriel today looking a lot better. And again, it's Arkansas State. That's part of it. But he looked more comfortable. Like him playing quarterback today, he looked like a very, very good quarterback today. Just the way he handled himself, the way before, like even against UTEP last year, I think he had a few just straight up bad throws here and there. And today, that other than, I guess, a little bit of the underthrows at times on the deep ball, which, again, it got pass interference called. It's not targeted against him. I think of his 3 incompletions, it was for sure one of them was a drop, if not maybe more than that, or at least like close enough that the receiver honestly should have made a play. I think besides maybe one, I think a lot of DG's, all 3 of his incompletions were within play for the receiver. And then just talking about Jackson Arnold as well, he was 11 for 11 today on his birthday. Sooner debut at the start in the second half. But OU as a team, a .909 completion percentage, 30 for 33. I guess if you want to round it up to 91%, that's what you can do easily. That's the best in school history with minimum of 15 pass attempts. And that's week 1, team 129. A lot of just historic surrounding the game. 73-point shutout. the biggest margin of victory in a season opener since 1917 in Central Oklahoma. Put up 99 points in that game, 99-0. Central Oklahoma is now a D2 team. Tells you how much times have changed. It was just an all-around dominant performance. The defense, bend, don't break. They bent, and not much really. Like they forced a lot of 3-and-outs. A lot of it was just Arkansas State's scheme of they're getting rid of the ball quick. They're bringing in extra blockers, running full packages, so that defensive line can't get pressure. And when they were pretty plain Jane today, not many stunts, really very limited blitzing. I think there was a few times they sent a backer. I know Reggie Pearson rushed off the edge early in the game. I saw Stutzman rush up the middle a few times.
Lewis
Canick
Carter.
Well. Yeah, Lewis Carter. That's another one.
He came up a few times.
Yeah, I said Canick off the edge. I think he went up the middle a few times there. So really, just when stuff like that's happening, Arkansas State, they're going to get rid of the football. And even at times when they were able to be open, the pressure was enough for the quarterback to make a bad throw. That's good defense. Just to not allow a point, that was something I said going into this game that needed to happen for OU to have a very good start to the season. And not only did they did that, they put up 73 points. They were favored by, I think, about what, Jerem? Or what, Jay?
Well, never mind. Go ahead. I'll say it after you're done.
Okay. I think they were favored by like 36. And then
they beat the spread twice.
Yeah, they doubled it there. It's just there's nothing you can complain about to have a dominant performance on really all three, like Jerem said, facets of the game today.
Yeah, what I was going to say was I know why Jackson was rolling his eyes, and it's because, Jeremy, you said the media hasn't been talking about this O-line. They actually have been. Like, for weeks now, people have been saying that this O-line can be their best since 2018. And I think that's probably why Jackson was rolling his eyes. And, guys, they showed it today. I know it's Arkansas State, and you got to just hammer these guys. You got to hammer teams like this. You got to go out there and destroy them. And that's what they did. I mean, you look at, I'm going to call out Bird. Bird was mauling people. If you go watch replays of when Caden Green got in, he blocked one guy all the way to the back of the end zone, literally. Okay. They were playing nasty. There wasn't a whole lot of penalties, which I'd like to see. Their pass pro was really great. Never really even on the deep balls. Gabriel had plenty of time. But a few stats as I was watching the game. At one point, OU had 36 first downs, and Arkansas State had ran 39 plays. That's insane. Okay, I don't care who you're playing. That's ridiculous. The other thing is, to me, the one negative on offense was the fact that they never threw the ball to Austin Stogner. That would be my only thing. Like because Braden Willis got the ball a lot last year and just didn't even see him. I don't even remember Gabriel even looking at him any. So I'm just, that would be my target.
Yeah, he didn't get a single target today.
So
that is, go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say,
I was just going to say,
I was going to say one of the things that I think stood out to me was the fact that the number of receivers, though, and how Dylan Gabriel was spreading the ball around was 10 times better than last year. So, don't you guys agree? There was a whole lot of guys that caught balls today. I mean, before Stoops went out, he had 4 or 5 already. Early, it was Andrell Anthony a lot. You saw Nick Anderson with 2 big plays. I mean, they were able to spread the ball around. And a couple of tight ends had some big plays with Blake Smith and McIntyre, but it could be, the plays they ran. I mean, if the first or second read is open, maybe the tight end's the third read, they're not going to get to that guy. But so I don't know if I would call it a negative because I'd say a negative if they weren't getting the ball spread to the other guys. But to me, that was actually something that stood out. The fact that they were spreading the ball around more.
I agree.
Dylan Gabriel looked like, again, this is Arkansas State. He was making more progressions.
Well,
Yeah.
you're right.
I saw that.
It was Arkansas. It was Arkansas State. And here's the thing: he looked pretty good last year against the first few teams. Okay, and looking at OU's schedule, they're not going to be tested for a while. I mean, SMU, this game coming up is going to be their toughest one for a while, I think.
They have a
he,
offense. SMU does.
yeah, but here's the deal, guys. If you're Dylan Gabriel, you have to be on your game because Jackson Arnold, guys, is right there, and you cannot tell me Gabriel doesn't know it. Not that there's a controversy. I'm just saying if Gabriel's having a bad game, I don't think Baby hesitates to put Arnold in there. I think he's that good. So I think that is driving it too. But I just think Gabriel played great. Like you said, we'll see when the competition gets tough and there's pressure on. But he played great. Another thing that stood out to me, defensively, if you look at defensively, a couple guys, Gentry Williams and Woody Washington, played real physical on the corners. They really did. They were physical. And also Harrington played as cheetah position. He had a good game. So I mean that stood out. And I mean, last thing I'll say is, to me, that the coach of Arkansas State says everything you need to know about this game. I don't know if somebody can pull the quotes up later, but it says everything you need to know about this game.
Well,
Yeah.
and I just think that with this team, it all starts really with just how Dylan Gabriel played. And I think when you just see Dylan Gabriel not only play good, but be confident when he's playing, it lights a fire to the rest of the offense around him. It gives his offensive line more confidence and purpose to block for, right? It gives the running backs a reason to run harder, be willing to sacrifice more for him. It gives the receivers a reason to block harder on the edge for him whenever he escapes the pocket, makes him run with more purpose, right? And I just think Dylan Gabriel today, he was uber confident when he was playing, right? Like you could tell there was plays where it was no hesitation. He was slinging the ball deep down the field. He didn't care what happened. He's like, I trust my receivers. And I think over the offseason, what we heard with Dylan Gabriel was the confidence and the leadership. I think we saw that today, right? Because really, he even looked more athletic on some plays, especially when he escaped the pocket. There was 2 times, one where he was able to escape the pocket. He had a rushing touchdown on a play in which, like, he almost ran into the back of his offensive lineman, was able to bounce off of him and escape for a touchdown. And there was another play where he was getting chased down by 2 defensive linemen, and he was able to outrun him with pretty much ease and was able to have success whenever he got outside of the pocket. But, and I just think that defensively, guys, this defensive line looked much more physical and stout in the run game, especially on the interior, right? You didn't see them getting pushed off the ball, especially with guys like Dejon Terry, Jordan Kelly, and Isaiah Coe. And I also think that this offensive line is going to do some special things this year. And it all starts with the offensive tackles. I think Guyton and Rouse, they both played exceptional, right? You see the flashes from Guyton every single game he plays. There's times where the dude just looks like a top 10 draft pick. And then there's times where, like, there was a play where it's just like he had a dumb holding penalty whenever he didn't even have to hold the dude, right? And then with Walter Rouse, he looked like the experienced player. He was very comfortable, had no issues. He just looked very calm and poised and like he knew what was going on. And he did, just due to the amount of experience he has in the different systems he's played in.
Yeah. Hey, and one thing you can for sure talk about, I don't care if it's Arkansas State or it's a red-white scrimmage. There was a lack of penalties today. The discipline, I think, you can tell is there with OU as far as attention to detail. And look, again, until they're in some kind of tough game, we won't know about, if they're going to slow down the tempo. There's some questions we had early on. What's Levy going to do? Are we going to look different on offense with slowing down the tempo? And of course, they came out guns a-blazing, full speed ahead. There wasn't any slowdown in them. Now, I don't know if that's going to change as the season progresses or depending on the type of game that they're in. Running back room is very solid. It is the running back room is loaded. They can play 5 or 6 guys. I'm excited to see Sawchuk get in, though, just to see kind of the difference that he will bring. The other guys ran well, ran hard. The receivers, again, the spreading it around. Gavin Freeman showed out. I mean, the special teams kick return was unbelievable early on. And there's just a lot of things that I think you can take from this game as positives. And are there negatives? I'm sure you talk with BV and staff, they're going to find some. That's what good coaches do. But you put a true serum in them, they're going to be 100% satisfied outside of a few injuries, a few nickups that they had there. I don't know of any serious ones, maybe outside of maybe the Davis Bevel one was a serious one. But I don't, as far as I haven't heard what that update is at all. So, but overall, what a great day. Even the one punt they had, plastered it about 50-something yards, I think. So
yeah, I think it was 50 yards on the dot.
Yeah.
I believe that's what I saw in the box score. And kind of, I know it was a few minutes ago, Jay was mentioning the tight end room. Blake Smith, that was very interesting to me how much time he saw the field last year. And again, back to DG making more progressions, spreading the wealth. We kind of said that this year. I think it was pretty much unanimous that there wouldn't be 1,000-yard receiver this season, that it's going to be a lot of guys getting a lot of targets and receptions. Today was very showing of that. Stogner not getting any targets was a little odd. I was shocked on that because, I mean, I was there Monday, press conference. DG was talking about Stog. I mean, he's like big Stog. He also talked about the tight end room as a whole. Seeing it today, see why DG was talking about it. Blake Smith had like a 28-yard reception, and then Cade McIntyre had a 26-yard reception. So 2 big plays and the 2 receptions for the tight end room. I think it's a lot better than people expected it to be because Stogner played, yes, but he had no targets. So the receiving aspect of him was non-existent today. And they did just fine. Combined for 54 yards in the tight end room today with no receptions for Stogner. I think anyone will take that any day of the week because Stogner going into the season was considered pretty much the only guy with real experience in that room. And just the offensive line too. I know we mentioned Tatum Green earlier. Like that reminded me of Blindside, the scene where he's like, Coach, I didn't hear the whistle. Like I was in the student section pretty high up today and wondering what was going on because all of a sudden I just see he's still going. Like I don't know what media members were down there, but hopefully they're all okay because I mean he literally took that Arkansas State defensive lineman to the brick wall. On the field today. That's very impressive for a freshman.
I think we all knew the offensive line, the starting unit was going to had a chance to be really good, but I was actually really impressed with the second unit. The second unit with Arnold in there, I mean, can you think of any times Arnold was pressured? I can't. The second unit played really strong. We know Sexton, right, is getting close from everything we're hearing. That's going to add some depth. But, guys, the second unit did not really – when the backup quarterback is 11 for 11 and was probably averaged close to 5 yards a pop. And, guys, I'm going to go back to what Jay was saying just a few minutes ago. I disagree that Venables would be quick to yank DG. I don't think they're going to be quick to yank DG if something were to happen, if he was struggling a little bit in the game. Now, I do think that Jackson Arnold, from my opinion, and Hunter I know has brought this up as well, does seem to have a package there of him running the ball, possibly, and he can throw from it. I will say an observance I made, and I'm not a former player by any stretch of the imagination, okay, but I know a little bit about football. Jackson Arnold makes throwing the ball look very easy.
It's beautiful.
He's a gunslinger. The flare passes, it just flies out. He's got a quick release, and it's effortless, guys. And that's what we thought coming in. And then the pass he threw where Gibson just made the heck of a grab. That was a great play by Jaden Gibson. Again, great day for Jaden Gibson, a guy that has deserved to have the day he had today because he's done the right things. He's put himself in position to play, and he's put himself on game days to make plays. He just hasn't made them. Today he made those, and to me, and I'm going to say it because Anthony was impressive too, and so was Nick Anderson. But if you got a guy like Gibson that you can count on, it's a game changer with his height at the goal line. It is a game changer. You're talking about him, Stogner, and possibly even Gibson on there together. That's three guys well over 6 foot. I mean, I don't know that there's anyone that can defend it.
Nick Anderson and Jaden Gibson combined for 4 receptions today. 2 of them, Nick Anderson led the team in receiving. He had like that 40-yard reception or 39. I can't remember what that was. It was a big play. And then Jaden Gibson made arguably the catch of the season for week 1. I think when we turn on SportsCenter in 15 minutes at 11 o'clock, when it comes on, that play should be somewhere in the top 10 at the end of the hour. It's just those two. They only had 4 receptions today, and they're sticking out. That's crazy.
Oh, man, a lot of yards.
As the season progresses, they're going to be more of a factor. It's a matter of getting them comfortable at this point in the season. They both need to stay healthy. I know last year that was sort of an issue for sure with Nick Anderson. Jaden Gibson also had troubles at times getting onto the field because of stuff like that. Dylan Gabriel just has to keep this confidence as we kind of look forward to this next week. SMU, an experienced and talented secondary. Stay confident. That's all you can ask DG to do. He played confident football today, and it showed. He had the best performance he's had in a Sooner uniform. Granted, it's Arkansas State, but it matters. There was a different Dylan Gabriel today, and that spreads across the team. Ethan Downs talked about it on Monday in the presser on DG's leadership of as the quarterback, not the arrogant airhead quarterback. He's a lot more of a normal guy, humble, but has that little bit of a swagger. And we saw that today. He was playing with confidence the way he was slinging the ball. And we talked about the fast-paced offense today. Some of the numbers are a little deceiving. I'm sure we should get into this. The new rule changes in college football, the clock rule. I hate it. It's absolutely stupid. It did not make the game any faster today, especially when Arkansas State is getting injured every few plays, popping like flies. Maybe the Oklahoma Heat's different than Arkansas, but
it will cause less plays, though. There will be less plays in the game because of it. I don't like that either.
Yeah, that is true. And again, it's not going to make the game faster. I don't see any reason for it. I mean, the first quarter today was near an hour. I think it was like 12 o'clock.
Probably because you scored 6 TDs.
Yeah. No, it was 28 in the first quarter. Okay. But yeah, it was just, again, it didn't seem like the clock did anything. And again, being at the game's a little different than watching it on TV because you're sitting through TV timeouts today. Sitting through the TV timeouts in the heat, it feels a lot longer than it actually is, but it's still, again, that's a rule. College football, it's part of the game to get a first down, stop the clock, be able to regroup as an offense. So now that's gone. That part of it, I think it's going to kind of have a negative effect in bigger games down the road this season. Week 1 for pretty much every team in the country. There's really, I guess, tomorrow night, LSU, Florida State. That will be a big game early on, top 10 matchup in those two teams. But for the overwhelming majority of week 1 games, there's not big matchups, so it won't really matter right now, but I think next week you got Texas Bama. Just as the season progresses, you're going to see it be kind of a negative thing. I really don't like this rule. I think if you want to make the game shorter, get rid of TV timeouts.
Not happening, unfortunately.
Yeah, big media will not allow that to happen. They cannot lose their commercial times, but like there's ways around it. You can throw advertisements on the screen out of where it's not an issue. You can, again, advertisers are going to pay for advertisements, so make commercial breaks a little shorter. Instead of 3 minutes, make it 30 seconds. But again, won't happen because at the end of the day, the money is the most important part of the sport.
Jackson.
Yeah. And for me, what?
I was getting ready to say, go ahead, and then we'll do our Sooner standout.
Oh, well, I was just going to say, for me, lastly, another thing that stood out was how much fun Jeff Lebby's going to have with some of these playmakers this year, right? Because you see it, just the size of Jaden Gibson and Nick Anderson. And also, I mean, even the size of Austin Stogner and Blake Smith, like those guys are pretty big guys. Like they're going to help in the red zone. And just like with the speed, a guy that we didn't get to see today was Brennan Thompson. I know he wasn't able to play, but I'm hoping that we'll get to see him sometime this year. I don't really know his availability for next week, but I hope that we'll get to see a little bit of Brennan Thompson just due to the speed factor. Then you talk about guys like Gavin Freeman, Andrew Anthony, Jaquez Petaway, right? The list goes on and on and on. And I just think that Jeff Lebby, he's going to be able to do some creative things this year with so much speed that he has.
Yeah, and the thing is, Petaway,
he had a nice day.
Hey, Petaway is a Ryan. I see Petaway a lot like a Ryan Broyles, where he's gonna have a game this year maybe where he gets 10 catches because the flare route right outside.
He had 9 today, Jeremy.
See, yeah, so easily. And some of that he played a lot in the second half where maybe he wouldn't have got that much time if they weren't, so dominant. But still, he's a guy that's going to get open very quickly on those little flare routes and get you 5 yards. Ryan Broyles lived doing that. I mean, he made a living doing that because that you can't stop that. So let's get into Sooner standouts, guys. And, I'll start with mine. And before I do want to talk about just from an outsider looking in, and we know a little bit about the program as well, but to me, it looks like everyone's bought into what's happening there. The culture.
The foundation has been laid.
The team aspect of it, to me, is ahead of where it was last year. I mean, part of it is they're throwing guys in there. The depth is so different that guys are chomping at the bit to get out there and play. And kudos to Jerry Schmidt too, because you noticeably can see some difference in some of the guys. I think that's very clear. But my Sooner standout is maybe it's going to be yours too, but I can't not give it to Gavin Freeman, getting on scholarship, making a house call on a punt, and then catching the touchdown out of basically the flare route on the left side. Guys, he's unguardable. You're not going to put a linebacker on him in the slot. It's game over. And he's sneaky, deceptively fast. He's really quick. He's got juke. He is going to be a dynamic factor for the Sooners this year. And my Sooner standout is Gavin Freeman.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll go next. My Sooner standout, this may sound kind of like an obvious statement, but I'm just going to have to give it to Dillon Gabriel, guys. I just think just with how Dillon Gabriel played today, right? The fact of the matter is I don't care that it's Arkansas State, but Dillon Gabriel looks different. I don't think there's no denying that. I just think that Dillon Gabriel played a near perfect game. He was really decisive in his reads. And Jeremy, I think you said it earlier, he just looks more comfortable going through all of his progressions and his reads and just what he's able to do. So I think that Dillon Gabriel, man, he's going to be in for, I think, a great year and a year in which maybe he won't be questioned as much by Oklahoma fans.
Yeah, I'm going to go I I guess you can call it a little bit of a shocker pick. On defensive side of the ball, leader in tackles today only had 4. Not either of those in Kobe McKenzie or Danny Stutzman. Reggie Pearson, an absolute dog.
He
That
can
hit in
he
the first quarter. First off, that's not a penalty. He was still in bounds. That was literally him stand still, hit him with the shoulder. And I'm shocked the quarterback was able to get up there. I honestly expected there was going to be a position change for Arkansas State after that hit. It was absolutely worth the 15-yard penalty there. Should have been a penalty. The refs were loving throwing that dirty laundry today, as Braden called it today. The dirty laundry. It was thrown a lot. So, Reggie Pearson, we saw him last year. I hated him last year for that hit on Dylan Gabriel. And now he's on our side. Like, this is going to be fun.
Yeah,
I've not seen a safety for sure in a long time for me, really, maybe even my lifetime. At OU, able to lay down the boom in the manner that Reggie Pearson does. And it's only going to be more this season. Like when he's running full speed, 20 miles per hour, and hitting that hit stick, I know we talked about it like from practice stuff. There was like a fumble in one of the scrimmages. Reggie Pearson forced it. I don't think it's the running backs not being careful with the ball. I think it's just Reggie Pearson is just that dude. When someone hits you that hard, you're going to fumble every now and then.
Yeah, and I think for me, another guy that needs a lot of credit today is Gentry Williams, right? I just think that he kind of maybe, obviously the talk in the offseason was him or Josiah Wagner or Makari Vickers for that cornerback 2 spot. And I think really Gentry Williams, he was tested a few times. He didn't give up any completions that I know of off the top of my head. He played a great game, and obviously the hit he had on the screen pass was just like he made that dude feel it. And Hunter, I think you just said the only guy that I can know of off the top of my head that can maybe even hit close to what Reggie Pearson can was Kenneth Murray. That's maybe the only guy. But also, Kenneth Murray was a linebacker.
Yeah,
Reggie
exactly.
Pearson
That's what I was getting at.
Safety.
A safety.
The safety is
able to lay
Brandon
down the boom.
Everidge. Brandon Everidge wore number 7. Brandon Everidge laid down the boom. And this year, OU's got to bring the wood helmets back. Bringing the wood. You got to. This isn't Speed D anymore. And so long, Speed D. I'd much rather have this vicious physical defense. Great play by Kenai Walker today, stripping the ball. That was another one. Got the turnover. Wasn't it Kenai Walker that caused that? I believe so.
Yeah.
That was a great play. So, so many great things today. Opening game. Next week's going to be a test, guys. SMU's got a good offense. They have a great secondary. Some things that OU is going to be tested on. I think it's great to have that early in the season. I know a lot of fans are like, hold your horses. We get it. It's Arkansas State. But next week, we'll hold the horses and hopefully hold the Mustangs down to a shutout as well as we get after it there at the Palace on the Prairie, 5 p.m. kick. Stay tuned. You guys drop your comments on who your Sooner standout was from today, and make sure you have subscribed to the Sooner Surge and be a part of what's going on. You don't want to miss this week. A lot of things coming your way. Till next time. Boomer.
Boomer.